Live on Facebook and YouTube.
All right, so today we're going to talk about the 5 things you should know about each team member. As an owner of a salon or as an owner really of any business, there's a couple of things you want to connect with your team. You want to know certain aspects about what moves them, what makes them feel safe, how you get the most out of each team member is by knowing a lot about them on a personal level. And so I think for a lot of owners, we base everything off our KPIs and what their relationship is and performance, how that reflects with the business and with the salon. And you'll get the most out of people when you focus on what really moves them and motivates them. So today I want to really break down just 5 different areas you should be focusing on as an owner to get the most out of your team so they really show up more for themselves. And when they show up more for themselves, the direct connection to how that impacts your business is amazing. So when you have a stylist or you have a barber, you have a team member who is disciplined and they're consistent and they show up because they know how that's going to impact their life in a positive way, it's only going to impact your salon in a positive way. So the first one is each person's unique strength and their potential. You have to know what each person, like what their true strengths are. And that doesn't, you're not going to learn that in the first day. Like you're not going to be able to figure that out with one interview. It's going to happen because you have been in the industry for long enough of a long enough time where you can take a look at somebody and see, hey, maybe they're not that great at cutting. Maybe they're amazing at color, or maybe just their technical skill set really isn't where it needs to be, but yet they're really funny. They got a really great personality, and their strength and their potential lies in their relationship and the bond they form with clients. And so on the back end of you developing their skills, you could front load their strengths and really have them maybe create social media content that displays their humor or gets their personality out there. So people watch their content and it's like, wow, I like that person. I want to go to them for my hair. And so once you understand that person's unique strength, it changes everything. And then you could, instead of harping on things they're doing wrong or things they can improve on, you just keep on compounding the things they're amazing at. And so as an owner, it's up to you to really visualize that and take a look at how I can really position this person's strengths to make them an even better stylist. Okay. Number 2, what drives them? What's the one thing? Like, what's their why? What's their purpose? Why are they here? Why do they choose this particular career? And it's important that you truly get to their why statement and why they're doing hair. One of the things I ask in my initial interview process is, why are you doing hair? Like, what is it? Like, what is the thing that will make you get out of bed every morning and show up 100% to this career? And it has to be, like, honestly, personal to them. It can't be connected to how they're going to help your salon. Their why is their why. And so you want to really understand what motivates them. And maybe it's to buy their grandmother or pay their grandmother's mortgage off or their mom's mortgage off, or is it because they're the breadwinner in the family? Like their why is their children. Like understand why they should get up and show up every day. And then what you do as an owner is you're there to make sure you support them and help them achieve that why, help them really live in their true purpose. When people live in their purpose and people live in their greatest excitement, they can accomplish anything. And so it's up to you as a leader to help them identify it if they're younger and they're not really sure what that is. And one of the exercises I like to do for that is ask them 3 questions. What experiences do you want to have in life? What kind of person do you need to become to make those experiences possible? And then number 3, how are you going to help other people make their experiences possible too? And so that is number 2. What drives them? What's their why? Number 3, this is like really, really important. The third thing you should know about your team member is what makes them feel safe. How can they trust you? How can they trust that this is the best decision to move from the salon I'm at now to your salon or to this new salon? And people are going to feel trusted in a different way. You don't really know what happened to that person in their life when they were younger. You don't know if their dad abandoned them. You don't know if their other boss was a douchebag and like would promise the world and not show up the way they said they were going to be. You don't know what really happened to that person. And so it's important that you do know what makes them feel safe. And that comes from conversations. That comes from your one-on-ones. And so a lot of owners, where they go wrong is they dedicate the time, the crucial important time with that team member in your one-on-ones to just talking about numbers, just talking about retention rate, KPIs, average ticket value, what you post on social media. And there's a time and place for that. But you want to really get to the root of what makes that person feel safe. So this way, as an owner, you don't ever do the things that make that person not feel safe anymore. And you took the responsibility to be a leader. And as an owner, a lot of the weight falls on your shoulders for the success of the salon, but you also get a chance to profit as well. And so if you're in this cycle of losing people and people joining your team and you lose them and they leave your team, and it's a never-ending cycle of burnout as an owner, it may be because of your leadership style. It may be because you're only focused on the salon and the performance that this team member or whatever team member has with the success of the salon. When in reality, you should show them how the salon is the vehicle to get them to achieve all their goals and all their dreams. And you're going to do it in a way that makes them feel supported and safe. So you want to make sure you understand how can you show up in a way and how could you create this business that that person feels safe in your salon. And if they truly feel safe and they trust you and they trust you have the vision for them, why would they ever go anywhere else? That's a really, really important question you have to ask yourself. Number 4, the strength of your relationship. Like each individual person, you want to make sure you have a bond with that person. And this is something that's difficult when you have multiple locations, you have so many people. And this is why it's important you put a manager in place or somebody in a leadership role that has that strength and that bond. And then you only have a strong bond with one person that has a strong bond with 10 people. And so this way, the strength gets kind of passed down to the team. But if you had to really form a bond with a team of 120, it's going to be difficult. This is why it's important to have a structure. You have an organizational chart. You got position agreements. You have everything in place. So you have a team member dedicated to leading a group of team or a group of stylists. Now, influence flows through relationships. So everyone always asks me, how do I motivate my team, Nick? Like they're not motivated, they don't show up, and you don't motivate them. You inspire them to think a little different. You inspire them to make better decisions. You inspire them, and you want to really influence them. And all you're doing is showing up in a certain way that makes that relationship super strong. And then that person is never going to want to let you down because you show up for them in a certain way. And then the reciprocal part of that is they have to show up for you a certain way. It's just how human nature works. And so if you really focus on that bond and that strength of the relationship, they will show up in a way that benefits them, but indirectly benefits your salon. So focus on strengthening your individual relationship with each team member. And if you're too big of a salon, like you got 100 team members, focus on the bond with each one of those managers. And then always make sure you're still touching points with people. Make sure you have the team meetings and make sure you still are connecting with your team. I mean, a lot of my leadership days, they feel like I got nothing accomplished. Like they're my days when I leave the salon. I'm like, what did I get done today? But in reality, it's like you did a lot behind the scenes. You did a lot to strengthen those bonds. Everything we're talking about in this particular live right now, they're not so much quantifiable with a direct KPI to it. They kind of help support the overall success of your leadership in your salon. And so when I leave the salon those days, it's like I kind of hung out in the back. I talked to people, and it's like I didn't really do a lot of stuff. I just did a lot of talking and bonding. And you're going to see when you start dedicating certain leadership days, you'll probably feel that way too. But the direct impact on the success of the salon and the growth of the team is immeasurable. And then number 5, are they positioned to win? Like, are they in the right role? And this kind of more or less connects with your leadership team, your front desk, your lead stylist. You've been educated in your salon. Is that person really in the right role? And I think a lot of times as owners, we get overwhelmed, we get busy, and then we scramble to find people to fulfill a role that we have. And so for me, I learned this the hard way. Like I would find somebody who I thought was good at social media and I would task them that job because they were young. And I thought, hey, wow, she's 20 years old. She has to know about TikTok and Instagram. And so I would give them that position. They didn't know anything about marketing. They didn't know anything about fully structuring a perfect caption that has a good call to action, or creating a hook in the first 3 seconds of the video to capture that audience so you get them locked in for the rest of the reel. And there's a lot of that going on in our industry, especially from the older owners who aren't as familiar with social media. And you're like, well, you were born with a phone in your hand. You should know how to do this. That's just not the case. And the same thing comes from when you put in a stylist in your salon and they're just awesome at what they do and they never have any repeats. Their clients love them. You're like, wow, I would love to duplicate this person and I'm going to make them one of our instructors. They don't know the first thing about teaching. And so you task this person with the position of being the educator in your salon when they don't really want to do it because it doesn't really excite them. It's not what drives them. And they never got trained how to teach people. And so you put them in a position and they're going to fail at it and you're going to get mad at that person and feel like they don't care about it, but it's not the position they should be in. And so you have to figure out what is the best role for that person. And a lot of times, obviously, if you're a stylist, right, you do hair. But this is, like I said before, more for your leadership team, your education team, your marketing team, your front desk team. I mean, sometimes you hire your aunt or your uncle, or you hire like your niece, or you hire somebody's daughter to work at the front desk, and they're not really good people. And so unless you have a really good process in place to bring the best out of that person so they can articulate pleasantly on the phone how your cancellation policy works, rather than if you're late, we're going to charge you $25. No, that's how we do it by. Like some people just don't have that couth, right? They don't have that ability to flow with the conversation and make people laugh. And your front desk person, that's the position that people first meet when they walk through the door, they call the salon. And that's the last person, that's the last impact and impression on a person when they leave. It's a very crucial role. And so you have to really dedicate somebody or put somebody in that position who's dedicated to client satisfaction, like who really wants to go above and beyond to make the person happy. So those are your 5 things you should know about each team member. Recap: what each person's unique strength is, what their true potential is, what drives them, what's their why, what makes them feel safe, the strength of your relationship. And so you have to know where you stand with that person. And a great book to read for that is The 5 Levels of Leadership. So what level of leadership are you on with that person? And then, are they positioned to win, right? Are they in a position in your salon that they really deserve to be in, or they should be in, based on their skills and based on the training that they had already? And so did you give them all the tools they need to truly be successful at that position? So those are my 5. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm going to open up to a little bit of Q&A. So if you guys have a few questions you want to ask, feel free to drop them. James will read them off to me.
Blue Chip Chips Bria, what's your take on salon suites? If you are a salon suite owner, should you also have a private suite for yourself to do special clientele? What's your take on this?
I mean, suites have a purpose. I mean, I thought they're a really cool idea in the beginning. And I just feel like we are tribal beings, right? Humans, we like to work with a team. And so you need to sometimes bounce ideas off people. It can get very lonely in a suite. Now, in a private, exclusive suite, if you have a luxury service or you're catering to someone who I forget what it's called. A lot of the Muslim religion, they can't show their face or their hair in public. Like, you might need to have a private suite for somebody like that. You might have a client who has alopecia and she wears a wig, and so she doesn't want to take her hair off in the public window or anything. So a private suite's great for that. If you're just not a people person, which I don't know why you would be in this industry, but a suite's good for that. So there's a purpose for suites. I think that it's a great stepping stone into ownership. I don't think it's the most financially sound decision to pay $500 a week for a cubicle. I think there's better opportunities out there for people. And I think that as time goes on and you start seeing more commercial real estate become available because more people are shopping online and whatever's going on with the world, you could see, like, I think micro salons is really where it's at. 3 to 5 stations, boutique salons. I think you have the ability to scale, build a team. And so I would really look more into that than suites. So that's my take on suites. I think they're a great opportunity for people, especially higher higher ticket services like stylists who participate in like extensions, huge blonding services, platinum cards, things like that. And if you are a very valuable stylist where you could charge almost anything you want because you're the best at what you do and you don't want to deal with an owner or anybody else, then suites are going to be cool. But just understand it's a business. So there's inventory, there's ordering, there's your Google business page, your website, client retention, client attraction. And you can't really buy back your time in a suite like you could in a micro salon or a salon. So, next question, James. What we got? What's going on? Oh, it did? Oh, would you look at that? Is it back? It didn't die off on me yet. Let's see if you got it there. Do we got sound now? Do we still have sound this whole time?
That was through the mic.
All right, so James is fixing the camera right now. We should have camera back. James, we got the camera back?
No, we don't.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap up.
We got the camera back.
You got it back?
We
All
got it
right,
back.
next question, James.
What the heck? There we go. So next question. We have front desk is the first experience from Super Hario the book. Sea Shepherd, new here, amazing information. Beauty Buzz Salon. What are the gems on new salons getting clients? How do I build clientele?
Oh, this is a great question. This is a lot of my content teaches this. If you're a stylist, DM me. I have someone called the Next Level Stylist will teach you all of this. Same thing with my other Level Up Academy. But to grow your clientele, you have to be the best at what you do, whether it's cutting, coloring, braiding, nails, lashes, I don't care what it is. Become the best in your area. Tell every single person that you come in contact with that you're the best and you want to do their hair, nails, or lashes, or whatever it is that you do. Create content that positions yourself as an authority on that. Teach as much as you know about that particular area of business that you specialize in. Create content every single day. Go on your DMs and talk to people every day. Make sure you have a presence online. So when someone Googles best hair salon near me, your Google business page pops up or your website pops up, and then you retarget them with ads. So you create a pixel on your website that retargets people who are looking for the best salon near them with all your social media ads and social media content. And if you do that within 6 months, you will be the busiest person in your area. That's how you do it. And if you want that all unpacked in a bite-sized, actionable achievement action plan, DM me the word grow, and I'll show you how that works. All right, James.
Grow Hair by Denise. Salon that is booth rental. How do you retain them and keep them inspired?
Just like you lead anyone else. Like I have an independent commission team. They're not booth rental, but they are independent. And it all comes down to your leadership. Everything we talk about, do you know what their strengths are? Do you know what their goals are, what their vision is? And do you position your salon as the vehicle to help them achieve it? So it's so important that when you have your one-on-ones with them, even though they're independent, you have a pretty solid culture contract and you have a booth renter position in your salon that explains exactly what you expect of them. And then you give them their own achievement action plan. And so you have to ask yourself, what business are you in? What business are you really in? And what business do you need to be in? So a lot of people, you think you're a booth renting salon, but you're in the coaching business. You're in the mentorship, you're in the leadership business. And so if you can truly become a leader and inspire them to show up better for themselves, and you give them an atmosphere and you create raving fans of these renters, then they're not going to want to go anywhere. Right? Because they're your clients too. And so I think a lot of owners, whether you have a rental salon or a commission salon, we think the clients that we have are only clients that walk in our salon to get their hair done, when our clients that we have are the people behind the chairs. And they're our most important client because they're the ones who are really touching people all day long. And they're the ones who are showcasing our brand to the masses. You can do one person at a time. But if you have a team of 100, now you just multiply that and you're doing 100 people at a time. And so if you truly are a leader and you make all those 100 people feel inspired and make them raving fans of your brand, then they're going to want to leave a lasting impression on every client that sits in their chair because it's a representation of you as a great leader and they're part of that brand. And so you have to change the way you're looking at your renters and really make them your clients. All right, James, next question.
We got Sea Shepherd. What advice would you give someone who is starting cosmetology school / Paul Mitchell?
All right, cool. Yeah, school. You're going to learn basics in school. I would not get discouraged. It's going to be really hard. You're going to suck at first. And my advice is be a sponge. Be open to everything. Try and learn everything. Don't limit yourself. Don't just focus on the money. Focus on the impact. And so a lot of new styles like I want to make money, so I'm going to specialize in blonding. And a lot of them do that because they can make money doing it, but B, because they suck at cutting hair and they never learn the skills of cutting hair. And so what I think where a lot of people go wrong is they enter this industry because now it's glamorous to be a hairstylist. When years ago it was like, oh, you're going to hair school? What? You can't go to college? But now it's like it literally is a glamorous position. Like you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And what I want you to understand is you are a brand yourself. So when you go into hair school, start cultivating this brand. And so what does this brand look like? What is your end game? Start with the end in mind. Where do I want my career to end? It's going to be really hard for you to map this out in the beginning, but here's something I teach called the personal economy. And I want you to understand that the opportunity as a new stylist going into this industry today, you have the opportunity to do services, sell products or create products, and then sell knowledge or digital products, right? So that's your three areas of your personal economy. And in 20 years from now, what is the impact you want to have made on this industry and people? And how are you going to have this career be the vehicle to get you there? And I keep saying vehicle in this live and podcast because that's what it is. Like you have the opportunity. If I wanted to go to California right now, I can take a plane, I could walk, I could take a bike, I could take a motorcycle, a bus, a train. Like those are vehicles. And so the end goal is California. So my end goal is to impact 200 million people. And if I want to impact 200 million people a year, what's the best way to do that? Probably YouTube, probably content, right? What I'm doing right now. If I was going to just maybe write a blog on my website with all this information in it, it's probably not the best vehicle because I can't really go viral with a blog like I could with a video on YouTube. So ask yourself as a stylist, what do I want to do with this career? Do I want to, A, make a lot of money that's a result of you doing it well? Do I want to be an owner? Do I want to lead people? Do I want to change people's lives, not just through their hair, but through maybe the knowledge I have in a previous career I was in, maybe whatever that looks like to you. And every time you talk to a person, you have so much knowledge in the area of personal development that when they leave your chair, they get the job because A, their hair looks amazing, but you gave them such great information because all the books you read that now they're better at the interview process because you dumped some great information on them. I don't know what that's going to look like for you, but just know that the impact you have on people in this career has a ripple effect that affects you for eternity. And a lot of people don't understand what that means. So I'm going to give you a little breakdown of the scenario. So let's say you're doing hair, right? And you're having a bad day. Your client Barbara calls you up and Barbara's like, hey, I don't feel like coming in today. I had an argument with my boss and your day was kind of shitty too. So you're like, you know what, Barbara, don't worry about it. Go home. Let's reschedule for next week. Call me next week. And you're like, oh, thank God. I didn't feel like staying late today in salon anyway doing Barbara's hair. Now Barbara goes home. Barbara got in a fight with her boss at work, goes home, gets in a fight with her husband. And now all of a sudden, her and her husband have an argument. He's up all night. He's a surgeon. He goes to work the next day because he didn't get any sleep. He's groggy. He's tired. He's a surgery first thing in the morning. The surgery doesn't go well. And that person dies in the operating table. Okay. Horrible way to explain this, but it's a reality that probably happened at some point of someone's life with all the people on this planet. Now, let's rewind a little bit. Barbara calls you up. You pick up the phone. She wants to cancel. You're like, you know what, Barb? Don't. I got a glass of wine waiting for you and some highlights. Come on in. I have no one else in the salon today. It's just me and you. Let's talk about it. And you show up for that person the way you're supposed to. And Barbara comes in. You guys laugh. You have a glass of wine. Her hair looks banging. She goes home, has an amazing night with her husband. They're very well rested. He wakes up in great spirits. He goes to the surgery. Boom. That person survives on the operating table. Now you're like, what the hell does it got to do with me? So fast forward 20 years. You have a child now. Your child's driving a car, tragic, terrible car accident, and he needs to get saved by the jaws of life. Who shows up to the scene? That person who's Barbara's husband saved on the operating table, he's the paramedic who gets dispatched to the scene. He saves your son's life. So the ripple effect that we have in this world with the people that we touch every single day is immeasurable. Like, just think about that for a second. That's how this world works. And so just because you wanted to show up the right way for Barbara and make her feel amazing, that just not only impacted her husband, the person he saved on the operating table, whoever else was involved in that person's life, but it indirectly affected your life 20 years from that point in time. And so when you look at this career and you look at it from the lens like that, from the impact that you have, it changes the way you do everything in this career. So I want you to understand the power that you have by being in a service industry and truly serve people 100% that you're capable of at that point in time. Always give it your best. So that was my long drawn out answer for how you should think of this career.
Questions.
All right, let's rock and roll.
Which program is the one for owners? Where do you teach how you make online retail and teach about how to run a commission salon?
Oh, that's Level Up Academy.
Glow Hair by Denise.
Denise, yeah, DM me the word grow. That's the Level Up Academy. And so we have a section of that we build out a Shopify store for you, upload your product feed to Google and Meta, teach you how to run ads, teach you how to run a commission salon, teach you how to teach your stylists how to become affiliate marketers and create content so they drive traffic to your salon, email marketing, social media marketing, all of that's involved in the academy. And so we hit 4 pillars. It's mindset, marketing, operations, and leadership. And so we make you truly a master at all 4 of them. So you can run your salon, your e-commerce store, or your knowledge-based business. So DM me the word grow. I think it's the best community on the planet. So it's a combination of community, coaching, and curriculum.
Blue Chips Bria. How important is posting organic content versus running ads on your best content? It seems like creating content is a time-consuming project on its own. Run ads or recycle content behind ads.
I think where you want to budget your money, and this is a brilliant question for everybody. So the question is, should you focus more on organic content or should you focus more on ads? Organic content takes so long. I want you to think of yourself as a content creator and act like a professional. And so a professional doesn't just spend money to figure things out, because you're going to, unless you have an amazing budget and you want to do that, but that's not the most genius way to do it. What you're going to do is create organic content as you're split testing, as you're testing of that content. Whatever does very well or yields the result that you want, like you posted a piece of content, let's say it didn't go viral, but let's say 15 people out of 20 who viewed that content sent you a message that they want to book an appointment with you. And then you did another piece of content that got 2 million views, but no one messaged you about booking an appointment with you. Which do you want to use as an ad? The content that got 15 messages and only 20 views. Because what's the result that you want from the ad? You want to book clients, right? So going viral is fine. It's cute, but it doesn't really convert to money or clients in your chair. So that's what you use organic content for. And so as a professional content creator, you create different types of content. And then the ones that do well actually achieve the result that you're creating the content for, which is hopefully booking appointments. That's what you put fuel on that fire. That's what you add money to. And so organic is your testing ground. Ads is how you actually show up and you play the game. And so whether it's retargeting, whether it is just getting exposure for your name if you're new to an area, getting people in your flywheel. I don't like the funnel approach to advertising. I like the flywheel approach. It's important that you do have a balance of organic and you have a balance of advertising. And if you're at your wit's end because you're really burnt out, pick a specific day, create one banger piece of content that gets the result that you want once a week. If that's what you have on your plate, then do that and use your stories for the connection points. We're actually teaching that today. So if you're in the Level Up Academy and you're watching this live, we're going to be going over the social media posting strategy 2.0. This is version 2 that I'm going over today. All right, next question, James.
LindaAlvar.com. I think that's how you say it. How do you handle retail on a booth rental salon?
Great question. If I was a booth rental salon, what I would do is I would have a Shopify store. I would create an individual landing page for each one of my renters. They would have their own discount code and their own affiliate link. And then any of their clients who buy in my salon, they'll get a 20% kickback on that retail. That's how I would do it. So any content they make that drives traffic to my website or any client they bring into my salon that buys that product, I would give them the 20% commission on it. And I know people like, I wouldn't do 10, I wouldn't do 15, I would make it worth their while. I would say 20% is fair because you're almost splitting it with them because your margins would be 50%. Obviously, you're putting the money out, you're storing it, you're stocking it. And so if you're giving them 20%, 25% is half of the profit. 20% is very generous. And I think that you could really get some movement with that. Next question.
Danielle Sandy, if I'm a booth renter, if I'm a booth renter and have my own website, should I have my own salon name or still be under the salon name?
Have your own brand name, and I would do it at the salon. So it would be Nick Marabella at the Warehouse Salon. That's what I do for my team. And then your salon, your website should be your name. Right now, if you don't have a salon, you are the personal brand. And so I would just be your name at that salon is how I would do it.
Sasha Lindsay, is booth rental curses commission limiting your income? I don't know what she's trying to say there.
Booth rental curses. Can you re-ask that question? I think if you're asking, is booth rental as a salon owner is limiting your income 100%. And you're almost limiting the team's income too, because you can invest the money back into each team member and maximize their exposure because you don't have any upside to driving traffic into that person's chair. But as a commission stylist, it's almost like a win-win relationship. Your partner is on that chair. And so that's how I organize my commission salon. They max out at 70% commission. I have no problem spending money on Google ads directing it towards that person to build them up behind the chair because I have a piece of the upside of that. And so it's a relationship that's more of a partnership rather than you rent a chair from me. And so now imagine you're renting a chair for $500 a week, and imagine that person's doing $5,000 a week behind the chair because I drive traffic in to their book and I give 70% commission. I'm keeping 1,500 of that. And some of that's going back obviously to pay the rent and cover color and all that stuff. But the upside's way greater in a commission salon. I think it's beneficial for both parties, but I could be biased. And I do have renters in my network. Next question. We're going to narrow two last questions before we jump off.
Okay. How can I uncover personal and professional goals without overstepping boundaries?
You just ask. It's all about, as an owner, you want to know what their personal goals are and professional goals are. I don't think you're overstepping boundaries. That's your job as a leader. And so if you want to look something up, the guy's name is Jeremy Miner. He's a sales teacher. It's called NEPQ, no emotional something questioning, right? And you want to really ask questions with curiosity. So as a leader, you want to be curious what this person's like, what their goals are. And one of the ways I like to do it, like I said in the beginning, is asking some questions like, what experiences do you want to have in life? And you want to let them know, hey, here's how I can help you achieve that. But one of the things I like to ask too is, hey, when you're 75 or 80 or 90 or whatever, 95 years old, looking back at your life and you're sitting on your front porch, what are the memories that you hope to have created? And then based on those memories, you can be like, all right, that's beautiful. Another question I like to ask is, name 3 people you admire and why. And so you can get into like a little more depth of how that person thinks by asking them, name 3 people you admire and why. Next question. I'll do one more.
Sasha Lindsay asked, is it hard to find commission stylists?
No, it's not hard to find commission stylists. How many commission stylists do you speak to every day? Are you creating content in a way that makes them want to reach out to you? And so one of the main classes that I teach, it's part of the hub of my system, is going to be the perfect salon model, how to build a profitable salon model that aligns with your vision. The other one is the stylist attraction system. That's what we're going to talk about right now. And it is a flywheel approach to marketing. You should be creating content that gets in front of and catches the attention of a hairstylist, hopefully commission-based because that's the salon you have. And then what that content does, it causes them to engage with your content, ask questions, engage with you in the DMs. Then you invite them to a class. Let's say you host your salon, and then you get them into your world. And then you have a chance now to see what that person's about. And then you invite them into your salon to be one of the team members. And so I teach that. I break that down in depth in that particular lesson. But whether you're attracting stylists or clients into your salon, it's the same process. It's just the messaging is different. And so if you speak to 100 commission stylists every single day through Instagram, TikTok, whatever content or social media platform you're on, whatever content you're creating, you will have started 100 conversations. By the end of 100 days, there's 1,000 conversations. At 3% of 1,000, what's that, 30? Let me do the math on that real quick because I'm shot right now. So 1,000 times 3%. Yep, 30 people. Just want to double check that math there. But
big brain on Brad.
yeah, I know. But so 30 people. So imagine, dedicate 100 days to talking to 100 new people every day, and within 30 days or within 100 days, you'll have 30 people on your team, and just change them or so it works for you. If you need 3 people, then you talk to 10 people a day, and in 100 days, you got 3 people. It does work. All right, now finally, last question, ladies and gentlemen. We got to get ready for the 1 o'clock call for our Level Up Academy members. Make it a good one.
What are the best practices for giving constructive feedback in a salon environment?
You mean like in a group setting, in a team setting?
Yeah.
You constructive feedback is for the team. Any direct constructive criticism of a person's actions should be done in private. You praise somebody in public, you correct them in private. If it's the whole team, you want to use something in a metaphor I call PCP, praise, correct, praise. And so you want to come out with a lot of praise for everybody. You find the good things they're doing. Like, hey, you guys are killing it here. You're killing it here. You're doing great here. Here's where I see some need for improvement. And then you finish off on a good note. And so that's how you want to arrange that conversation. But whenever you have to criticize somebody, a particular person who's falling short on your team, do that in a more of a one-on-one setting. And everyone, thanks for tuning in. If you are a salon owner or a stylist, salon owners, how we work this is we teach you, like I said, marketing, mindset, operations, and leadership. Money is going to be involved in operations, and you get access to learn how to really grow your personal economy, develop your perfect salon model, your stylist attraction system, and your client attraction system. And then those are the first part of your personal economy. Then we could jump into Shopify or jump into a knowledge-based business where you can actually monetize your internal curriculum for your team that you build out to train your own staff. And then the next level stylist, it's a support group that I created, a part of my community. So my salon owners have a place to send their team so I can help drive home some of the principles that I'm teaching in the main community. And my own team gets access to that as well. So you're going to hear how I coach my own personal team. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you click subscribe to this channel. Me and James are changing our content. We're going to be raising the standard that we are delivering our content on. If you're on Instagram, you should be following me already. If you're not, just click follow. And if you need any help whatsoever, DM me the word grow. We'll get in a conversation, see if I can help you. I will see everybody later. Have an amazing Monday, and I am out.